Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've been guided to use the Tea Leaf Oracle to bring through a short message from the spirit guides of this collective today. Scissors, disappointment in some affair, and I just heard cord cutting. Tree, affairs with your family. So now I'm also getting a sense of some ancestral healing in the long run that might right now feel like, not just feel like, might right now be actually traumatic and involve some separation. Let's get more information. Dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. I did a recent longer pick a card reading where there was a pile that had this card come up, and there was a strong suggestion from the spirit guides of that pile that this was referring to their mother, and I'm getting a call back to that from the spirit guides of those watching this reading now. So for some of you, this is involving cutting off contact with a maternal relationship, whether it is your literal mother or another maternal figure in your life, who for some time now, I'm getting from your spirit guides that the relationship and the quality of it has been deteriorating, and the sense of support or supportiveness within that relationship has been degrading over time. It has not been holding up to the weather, holding up under storms, holding up under weight. It has not been standing the test of time and of life. Interesting. Okay. Someone new entering your life, chair filled. Okay. I'm getting a strong sense of found family, healing wounds that occurred within your family of origin. Okay. Goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. I'm going to need some clarification on that, Spirit, as well as more messages, whatever spirit guides want to bring through today. Dog, protection from a powerful friend. Okay. There's definitely spiritual growth occurring within the context of the growth required to give up on something that it has been hurting you to hang on to. I'm hearing the lyrics. I actually know multiple songs that say something to this point. But the one that says it the most succinctly is It's Time to Go by Taylor Swift, where she says, sometimes giving up is the strong thing, sometimes to run is the brave thing, sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing. And the chair filled and the dog are indicating you finding the right thing next. I'm getting a really strong sense with the dog and the protection from a powerful friend. I'm getting a really strong energy from your spirit guides of you taking refuge in the arms, metaphorically or in some cases literally, if you are a big hugger, of a friend. Taking refuge with a friend or I'm being drawn back to the tree, in the shelter of a friendship, when the shelter that you grow up with proves to be built on a shaky foundation or have leaks in the roof, metaphorically. Finger, warning you of a problem either now or in the near future. So that is pointing at some of you, this is already happening, and this is reassurance that you're not doing the wrong thing by cutting someone off. Others of you, you've kind of felt this impending, but you've maybe felt the dread. I'm getting a creeping sense of dread from your spirit guides, but have been convinced up until this point that going no contact would not be necessary. And it's up to you to decide that, what's best for you. It's certainly not up to this reading to do that. But if that resonates with you, that you've been kind of putting off letting yourself feel how you really feel about this situation, then that is confirmation for you. Fly, a period of ill health, depression. It is very depressing to have to go through this with a close relationship or family. Eagle, triumph over trouble's obstacle. So that's quite the transformation from the fly to the eagle. Much stronger wings, can fly much farther, has a much longer lifespan. So that really indicates, I'm actually being drawn to put this at top because this is sort of the overarching message of the reading, is the light at the end of the tunnel. There's sort of a caution here about the nature of the tunnel, a clarification about the nature of the tunnel, so that you can have some understanding and clarity about what you're going through as you go through it. And even more than that, there's a reassurance that this is a tunnel, it's not a grave. That sounds so morbid, but that was how it came through from Spirit. This is a tunnel, it's temporary is the point. You will get out on the other side and see the light at the end of the storm, the light at the end of the tunnel. And fly, it will heal your broken wings. I'm hearing Blackbird by the Beatles, Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. You may feel that you, getting this image of, you as a child, like the wings either getting broken in your childhood or simply atrophying because you were taught that you didn't have them, or that you couldn't use them, that you weren't smart enough or strong enough or good enough to use them. And so now developing those muscles in the context of new relationships and in the context of faith and trust in yourself, to stand on your own, to be rooted as your own tree rather than being a vine that simply relies on the tree of the family to be able to stand, right? You're developing these new muscles and this new faith in yourself, or level of faith in yourself, without it, with the dog and the goldfish here, without it requiring toxic independence, and actually involving community or friendship. Yeah, there's this beautiful flow here of the cutting or severing of one thing being very quickly followed by the strengthening of a new connection. And for some of you, I'm being told by spirit guides now that for some of you, the fair woman is actually one of the new connections. So take that as it resonates, as it applies to you. Kangaroo, unsettled times need to plan ahead. So this is pointing at why you were drawn to this reading. Like I just said, about giving you clarity so that you understand what you're going through as you go through it. I paused there because I was also drawn to this kangaroo having the child in the pouch. Maybe some clarification about that, Spirit. Well, family wishes come true. I'm immediately being drawn to ancestral wishes coming true by you actually setting boundaries with this specific family member. They actually wouldn't want you to tolerate abuse. And I'm actually being shown an image of someone crying over realizing that, because there is a sense of guilt and duty to the family line. And to realize that your ancestors actually care about you, that you matter, and they care about your well-being, is such a paradigm breaker, such a mind breaker in a way. And really breaks those beliefs wide open and shows you how important your healing actually is. Yeah, how significant it is in the big picture, and how important this quote-unquote small picture is. I'm also getting a few other messages here with this shelter over the well. In some cultures, I believe, would be seen, this type of shape of architecture would be seen as a sign of opulence, and it's also protecting the well. And we have the protection of the tree from before, and we have this about increase in wealth and growth with the goldfish. So there's something there. It's possible, okay, what I'm getting now is that it's possible for some of you that cutting ties with a family member is necessary for your emotional growth in all times, but in the long run is also necessary for your security and stability in a 3D financial housing ability to have other stable relationships instead of only having relationships with the family, or ability to have stable relationships instead of only having dysfunctional relationships, regardless of whether they're with family or with others. This type of long-term, in fact, I'm getting specifically that some of you, your family has had such a history of really being in chains financially, being in servitude, being in slavery, being in indentured servitude, women being unpaid domestic servants, all these types of things that go on for generations upon generations upon generations in family lines. And because of the unhealthy situation, I'm really hearing abusive, I'm not hearing unhealthy, I'm really hearing abusive with this one family member that you are cutting ties with. It's actually necessary to break that bond in order to break the bondage of the family line to poverty. A very in-depth message there. Tell me more, Spirit. Tankard, celebration, fun, enjoyment. This one is sticking out. Is it that one? Okay. Broom, new home, new attitude. Okay, so what I was talking about with the stability of the home is definitely a big deal for some of you. And that did kind of ding, ding, ding in my mind when I said that about housing. But that's a really big deal for a lot of you here. And I was called to place it under the dog. So for some of you, you may actually be being called to move in with or get a new place in conjunction with a friend or multiple friends. I'm hearing specifically a friend. And this sweeping out represents so many layers here as well, because you're clearing out mental clutter, all sorts of thoughts that don't serve you, and clearing out emotional debris from harm done to you by severing this connection, by cutting ties. And there's a tradition that I heard a number of people talking about on June 1st, sweeping cinnamon out the door of your home to attract abundance in. So this is also speaking to this being part of your up-leveling in your sense of abundance in life. And that's huge in and of itself, having a space that you really feel like you can call your own and that you feel free to expand into. You feel spacious in it instead of feeling like you're cramped and hiding, as so often happens in a difficult family dynamic. Psychic ability, trust your intuition. Yeah, I'm also getting you're being watched out for. So trust your spirit guides here as well. Trust that you're being watched out for. And when some of you need a reminder, when you know a signal is from your spirit guides, you know that's how they communicate with you, with those feathers, with that symbol, with whatever it is in your case. That rainbow I just heard. Don't gaslight yourself or bulldoze that. Actually listen to it. Actually pay attention to it. Some of you have these moments of writing off these things even though you know them. And to be frank with you, one of your spirit guides is saying that it's really stupid and that it could get you into a lot of trouble. It's like just ignoring that you have this tool at your disposal in your toolbox. Like ignoring those signals when you are one of the relatively few people lucky enough to get them and to correctly identify them and interpret them is like having a hammer in your toolbox and trying to use a screwdriver to hammer in the nail instead. Like, it's stupid. It's a waste of time. It'll cause unnecessary angst. Let them look out for you. You don't have to do everything alone. There is compassion underneath the sort of 2x4 to the head of, like, we understand why you feel like you need to do everything alone and why you feel like you can't lean on people, but you have spirit guides that you're in communication with. You have potentially this friend that you can trust. Or if you don't yet, there are people who can be trustworthy friends, who can be a step up from the relationships that you're used to. And that, for some of you, spirit guides are saying really needs to be hammered home. Chair empty. Yeah, this is kind of full circle here. Someone is leaving your life. Someone is entering your life. I am coming back as well. I never quite finished my thoughts about the kangaroo because I was waiting to see if the other cards would confirm this. There is this sense of taking yourself, reparenting yourself from this kangaroo card, holding your inner child, your inner infant, the way you should have been held. And sometimes that does mean kind of creating this chrysalis, this safe retreat, psychically, in a thought space, in a shamanic journey space, or just a visualization of like a soft space where this child can rest and be cuddled. For some of you, this is like a womb space, and I'm hesitant to say that because it might sound really weird to some of you, but it will resonate with the people it needs to, where it is like allowing these wounds to be healed in this chrysalis, in this womb space, for this part of you whose development was arrested, whose innocence was robbed before your time. So thank you so much for being here. This has been a really illuminating reading, and I'm really grateful to you all for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.